I'd like to welcome y'all back to another episode of Beyond the Fear podcast, a place where you come for motivation, inspiration, uplifting, and overall positive message. I'm your host, DJ, and today's episode is inspired by a therapy session that I had a couple of weeks ago. And the theme of that session was don't be afraid of the no. And because I think for me, the longest time in life, especially like into my early adulthood, so early 20s, I was afraid to hear the word no. I became afraid to hear the word no. So it's like I was so afraid of hearing the word no that I didn't try things. I didn't go. There were certain positions that I didn't even try to apply for. There were a lot of opportunities that I didn't think I would get. So I never, I just never tried. I never applied myself. I never did any of those things because I was so afraid of hearing no. I was so afraid of the word no that it paralyzed me and made me not want to try anything, not want to do anything, not someone to say anything, not want to hang around certain people because the fear of rejection, the fear of hearing the word no. And that paralyzed me for so long, and and I didn't understand that it was even doing it to me until I was just talking to my therapist, and she just kept asking me why. She kept asking me why not this? Why didn't you try this? Why? And it was just like it all boiled down to just fearing rejection, fearing hearing the word no. Because for me, for the longest time, the word no just meant end of the conversation. um their journey's over with. There is that, that's just the end. I associated no with the end. And I think that for me, the reason why, at least one of the reasons why early on, is because, especially as a kid, once you told no, it's kind of like, okay, that's the end of it. No, no doesn't mean, okay, find a new way to ask for something, or try to um figure out a way to turn that no into a yes. No was just no, and that was the end of it. And so, for me personally, again, like I said in the previous episode, I didn't know how to pivot. I didn't understand how to look for other doors to get to certain answers. And so when I would hear the no, it was just like, that's just what it means. It means no. It means, okay, I have to move on to the next thing. And so, because I didn't understand, you gotta be resourceful. Like, if that's really what you want, you have to find different avenues, different ways to get there. Because the way you plan on doing it may not always work. And so, that was something that I did not understand. I just looked at no's as, a final destination, when a no is just, you just got to find a different route. You got to find a detour. And so today's episode is just about not being afraid of the no. It's okay to hear no. Understand that no is not the end of the journey. No is just, okay, one door closing. Now you got to go find another door. And if you can't find another door, find a window. And if you can't find a window, make a door, and do what you got to do to get to where you want to be. And, that was something that for the longest time in my life, I did not understand. I did not understand people who had that mentality. I always thought that was something I always thought it was something that you were born with. So when I would watch TV shows, I would watch cartoons, and I would see, you see those people who, I want to be this, I want to be that, and everybody's telling them, no, you can't be this, you can't be that, you can't achieve these things, you can't reach these goals. That's unrealistic. And through it all, like, I'm not listening to y'all. This is what I want to do. Like, even if this door closes, I'm gonna open up that door, whatever the case may be. It was just seeing that, it was cool to see, but I never thought that it would be me. I never thought that that was something that I could do, because I allowed, and I mean, and I understand it now. I didn't understand it then. I allowed that no to become so powerful and so scary that I allowed it to paralyze me from taking chances, from going after my dreams, I allowed it to scare me from applying myself to the things that I want to do and the person that I wanted to become. And so many times I've shifted my dreams, my hopes, my desires, because it was like I let that fear of no, the potential of hearing no, scare me before I even tried. And so that's why, as far back as I can remember, if you ever asked me what I wanted to do in life, or what I wanted to do growing once I grew up, or whatever the case may be, I did not have an answer for you. There was nothing that I would even think of saying, because in my mind, you know, I'm just hearing no's in my mind. I'm like, there's no way I can do that. Like, I created that limitation and that barrier for myself. Nobody else had to. Just the fear of hearing no started to create. I created a cage for myself because I was so afraid of hearing no. I became so afraid of hearing no because I was so afraid of being rejected. I created barriers for myself. I created these ceilings for myself, and I told myself so much that I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't be this, I can't be that, I can't make these things happen, I can't achieve these things, that I started to believe it. And I wanted to, just blame it on everybody else. Because again, in my mind, especially, because it's happened to me at such a young age and it's been going on so long, I'm not even comprehending that I'm doing it to myself. Like, that concept was just, it wasn't even something that I was thinking about. It was just like, no, this is just the way the world is. I can't do this. I can't be that. And I didn't even stop for a second to even give myself a chance to think, well, what if? How could I? But if I could, how would I go about doing it? And even if that didn't work, what would be the next step? What would I change? How would I redirect? How would I change course a little bit to get to where, I needed to go? And I think that for me, it was it was very detrimental, not to see people like that, to see the people who, okay, even though everybody's telling me no, I'm going to show you that I can. I'm going to show you yes. I think not having people around me to really show me that, along with the way my mind works, how I overthink things and how I get stuck in negative places, like that just made it even worse. And because for me, I stick on negative things, like the negative things in my head, I hold on to. It could be like 100, and it could be 99 positive things going on, and that one negative thing is like what my mind will attach to, and it'll tell my mind that, my life is negative or whatever. I'm just going to latch on to the negative thing. I'm not going to pay attention to the other 99 positive things. And so that's something that, again, I've been working on over the past year, going to therapy and realizing that there are, beautiful things out here. There are great things out here. There are things that outweigh the negative. If, what I'm saying, I put my mind to it and I allow myself to see it, instead of keeping myself locked in or caged in with all of these negative thoughts. And so one of the things that I hold on to is that no. Like, that's one thing that I hold on to a lot, is rejection. I hold on to it so tight because it's something that for the longest time I feared for so much that hearing hearing no just I don't know how to even put it other than to just say it just paralyzes me in a way that's crazy, in a way that's, or at least it used to. I don't think that it does anymore. Of course, I still don't like hearing no, but I understand that no isn't the end. And I think that that was the lesson that I had to learn is no doesn't mean that it's over. No just means you have to find another route. No just means now you have to pivot, you have to readjust, you have to reroute, whatever the case may be. But that does not mean the end. I had to understand that there's more than one way to reach your goals. You don't have to only reach your goals this specific way and go this specific route and go through this specific door to reach your goals. There are many different ways of reaching your goals. So for example, I I applied for a job, right? At my job, I applied for a new position and I didn't get it. And the old me would probably be miserable, frustrated, ready to quit, feeling like life isn't fair, all of these things. I didn't feel anything when I read the email saying I didn't get it, but there was a part of me that felt I should be upset. There's a part of me that actually wanted to get upset. And I had to really sit back, because of going to therapy and ask myself why. I'm like, why? Why is there a part of me that wants to get upset? Why is there something in the back of my head saying, why aren't you mad? Why aren't you frustrated? Why aren't you ticked off that you're not getting this thing that you wanted? And, and I just said, and honestly, the only answer that I could come up with is just being a creature of habit. It's just a natural habit. It's my comfort zone trying to call me back to it. And of course I didn't listen, but it was interesting to kind of sit back and think about, wow, there is a part of me that wants to be miserable, that wants to be mad, that wants to be upset, that wants to be miserable in this moment just because I didn't get this position. So I say all of that to say this was like 2 weeks ago. Just this morning, right before recording this podcast, one of my friends, shout out Crystal, sent me a message about learning some certifications, you know. So the only reason why I'm not shouting out is because I have not looked into it and seeing if it's legit or not. I honestly don't know. But if it is, I will definitely come back on, and give a next episode and give a review. And if it's something worth looking to, definitely will shout them out. But I'm going to look into it. So, but going back to what I was saying, so I say all that to say that happened a few weeks ago. So just this morning, she sends me this link about certifications. And so I looked it up, and there are some certifications close to what I was trying to do with the new job. So we're going to see. And if it is, and if that is the case, then that right there would prove the point that I've been trying to make, or that I've been trying to tell myself, like, there are other routes, there are other ways to get to where you need to be. So the fact that 2 weeks ago I was told no, fast forward to today, might be another door opening. It might be a window opening. It might be whatever, a reroute, whatever it is. It may not look the way I wanted it to look originally, but it can still get me to where I want to be. And so, like I said, and even if it's not what I'm expecting it to be, the fact that it's out there, the fact that there's something out there, just knowing that there are certifications out there that are close to what I'm trying to do, that's enough for me to um spark another, what's the word I'm looking for? Just to spark excitement, to spark the idea that, hey, we can still make this happen. There's still a chance, even if this particular thing isn't it, there may be something else that leads to something else, that leads to something else, that finally leads me to where I want to go. And so the fact that I haven't allowed the no to just stop me in my tracks and make me give up on it, that's progress for me personally. I know that there are going to be people out there who hear this and just like, no, that's crazy. That wouldn't affect me. And I'm happy for you, genuinely happy for you. I'm glad that you don't have to deal with this. But for the people like me who hear that no and we instantly think, okay, it's over. I can't do this. It's something real. It's real life that people deal with. And so just for me not to have that thought of, okay, it's time to give up just because I was told no, is huge for me. And I think that even more better or even more important for me, I said more better, but even more important for me, the fact that, you know, just this morning I was sent the link. She sent me the link about potential certifications is even crazier or even more of a sign that yeah, you're headed in the right direction. Because the old me, once I was told no, and now I'm mad and I'm pouting and I'm letting 2 good, wonderful weeks go by in anger because I'm still angry about that. Because in my mind, now I have to change my plans in mind. I'm saying the old me. And now I got to change my plans and now I got to think of this. And now I'm miserable at work. Now I've convinced myself that I'm miserable at work, even though I'm not. Even though work was good before I was told no, work is still good now. But in my head, because I was told no, now I'm miserable. Now I'm trying to find ways to leave this job and to go find another job. And mind you, the job that I may have found will probably be worse than the job that I'm at now. So it's it was just being able to sit back, take a step back, and look at how I lived my life for the longest time. It's just exhausting to even think about how much I ran from, you know, rejection, ran from no's, ran from the work, ran from um trying to just, I mean, I guess the best way I can put it is just running from the work, running from the hard work required to get to where you want to be to make your goals happen. I ran from it. I didn't want to go through the tough times and the hard times. I didn't want to go through the rejections. I didn't want to go through the, you got to find a way, you got to make it happen, just keep going, stay with it. That just wasn't my personality. And so, well, I convinced myself that that wasn't my personality. I convinced myself that that's not who I am. That's not what I do. And, I told myself that so long that I believed it and I started to believe it. And that became my reality. I became somebody who didn't fight for their dreams and didn't fight for themselves and didn't fight for the goals, didn't fight for the things that they want, just didn't fight, period. Didn't handle hard times well, didn't handle um, obstacles well, didn't handle pivoting and making changes well at all. And so, man, I say that just to say we turn ourselves, sometimes our words, and I know my mom always tells the power of the tongue, the power of the tongue. Our words are so powerful. And so I told myself who I wasn't for so long that I believed it. And there was no person who could tell me, no, you are this type of person, you are that type of person, because I wouldn't have believed it because I told myself who I wasn't for so long. So just be careful of your words, understand the power of your words and the things that you're spewing to other people and to yourself, because it's not hard to convince yourself of something if you hear it every single day, especially if you hear it coming from yourself. I know in reality, it sounds like a simple, easy concept, but words can just be so powerful. and we can be so ugly to ourselves that that combination can become very can have a very, fast downhill negative effect on you and your mental state if you allow it to. So now I do my best to just speak love into myself, speak life, speak positivity, speak affirmations into myself because I didn't understand the power of them. So even I remember the first time that I watched The Help, and the scene where she's like, use kind, use smart. I laughed at it, right? Because I'm like, it's just it was funny to me in that moment. But now looking back on it and understanding how powerful those words are and how simple those words are, I wish that I would have gotten that. I wish that somebody would have looked me. I wish that an adult at that age would have looked me in my eyes and told me that I was kind and that I was smart and what I'm saying, and all of these things. So it's like I understand the power of words. I understand the power of looking yourself in the face and telling yourself that, you're going to be great. You're going to make these things happen. You're going to be who you want to be. No, it won't be easy. No, well, no, it may not be easy. And no, it may not go the way you wanted to go. And yes, times are going to get hard. And yes, there are going to be distractions and there's going to be obstacles in the way. But yes, you can do it. You can fight through it. You can make it. You do have the perseverance necessary to get to where you want to be. And those things are all simple things, right? So if you're someone who's naturally motivated, if you're someone who's great with discipline, whether it's because you went to the military or, your parents were strict, whatever, wherever you get it from, I think that these things may not be big deals to you, but for people like me who lack a lot of those things or lack in those areas, I think affirmations, just hearing that is huge. And promise y'all, I did not understand how big that was. I thought that it was laughable and funny to just sit in the mirror and tell yourself, you are successful. You're going to be successful. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. I always thought I always thought that it was funny. But again, now that I understand the power of words and I've experienced it and I've had a chance to kind of remove myself from my situation just long enough to kind of look at it and see, okay, some of the reasons why I think the way I think, some of the reasons why I am the way I am and believe the things that I believe. And a lot of it was the self-doubt that I instilled in myself at a young age. And so, I'm a firm believer in, bro, some lessons you gotta feel before you learn. Right. You got to feel them before you understand them. You got to feel them before you hear them. Some things you just have to go through. Some things you just have to experience. People can tell you all day about certain things, but until you experience it for yourself and see that, okay, this is real, this is how it's working, this is like what it's going to be, you don't believe it. Well, at least I didn't, and some lessons, unfortunately, I had to learn the hard way because that was the only way I was going to learn. I wasn't going to listen. I wasn't going to understand it the way I needed to understand it unless I felt it. So I had to go through it. And so it was, it's very, I'm like, there's a part of me that wants to say it's very frustrating because I know that it is, but I also understand the importance of life. I understand the importance of lived experience. I understand the importance of sometimes you just have to, like, there's no other way to put it. You just have to go through things and experience it and experience them to truly understand, to fully understand, like what lesson you need to get from these situations. And so I'm one of those people, I have to live it. I have to go through it. Not every situation. Now, some things I am, especially now I am starting to open my mind, open my eyes, be more understanding, So some lessons, especially now, I can get without having to live through it. But growing up, I had to live through some of those experiences and even living through some of them. I didn't learn what I needed to learn. I took something totally different from it. And that's why I kept going through it, because I didn't learn the lesson I need. I'm learning the lesson that I'm feeling like I want to learn. I'm just taking what I want to learn. But instead of being open minded and absorbing everything that I needed to absorb, I'm just trying to absorb what I think what I want to absorb. Because me being honest, me being completely transparent, there were plenty of times where I do something and the answer was just don't give up. And the answer was just keep going, right? Because I wouldn't be the only person going through it. The person to my left and the person to my right would also be going through it, but they wouldn't give up and they would get to where we were all trying to go. But because I would give up, I wouldn't get there. So I knew what the lesson was, but because I wasn't willing to apply the lesson, there's so many examples in my life of, man, if you just wouldn't have given up, if you just would have sticking with it, if you would have just kept going, man, the turning point was right there. You know what I'm saying? So I can look back at several examples in my life where just a little bit longer. Don't be afraid of that no. Don't be afraid of those hard times. Don't be afraid of an obstacle being in your way. Don't be afraid of going around that obstacle. Don't be afraid of rerouting. And you can have your dreams. Your dreams can be right there for the taking. And just that fear of rejection, that fear of no, that fear of, okay, this don't look the way I wanted to look. My expectations, all of these things just combined into just, me just assuming the worst after every bump in the road. It was like my mind just goes into worst case scenarios after every bump. And so naturally it was just like, nah, I'm gonna let it go. Nah, and then I'm telling myself, this ain't for me. I ain't want this anyway. Oh, that just ain't for me. That's not who I am. And on the inside, it's like, no, I want that. I want this. This is for me. This is who I am. This is perfect for me. But being afraid of the hard work, being afraid of going through the tough time, being being afraid of the rejection, being afraid of taking a break and coming back to it. Because in my mind, it's only supposed to take this amount of months to learn this. It's only supposed to take this amount of years to learn this. But, not understanding everybody goes at their own pace. So just because it's supposed to take this long, it may be quicker for me. It may be, it may take longer for me because there may be certain things that I just don't understand, and maybe things I'm just not ready for in this moment. But that don't mean I can't take a break, like do something else and then come back to it. I didn't know how to do that. I did not know how to readjust, reset, reassess, reroute. And so those are such important skills to have, along with understanding that no does not mean end of the journey. No just means time to find another way. No just means I don't get to go in through the front door. I may have to see if there's a side door or a back door. And I just didn't have that. But I'm starting to develop it now. I'm starting to get it now. And I'm starting to understand that no is not the end of my journey. No may be the end of this particular route that I'm on, but I can always go left, right, back, make another turn, whatever the case may be, to get to where I'm trying to go. But I'm no longer allowing no to stop me from trying or to stop me from getting to where I want to go, because no is not the end of my story. And no doesn't have to be the end of yours. Again, if you're someone who's struggling or this sounds familiar to you, just know from someone who has struggled with this for over 20 years, 25 years, no does not have to be the end of your story. No does not have to stop you from going after what you want. No does not have to stop you from being great. You can find other ways to get there. You can go different routes to get to where you need to be. Understand it's not about how you get there. It's not about the route you take to get there. It's not about how long it takes you to get there. What it's about is making sure that you get there. That's the most important thing about whatever you've planned for yourself, is just getting there. No matter what it takes to get there, just get there. Don't allow the obstacles that are going to be in your way, because they're going to come. Don't allow the how long it may take you to get there. Don't allow any of that to stop you from going after your goals. I don't care how long it takes you to get there. I don't care how fast the other people around you are getting there, or how slow the other people are taking to get there. Focus on you. Don't allow these no's and the rejection to stop you from getting to where you want to be. Don't worry about how you planned it in your head or your expectations. All that matters is that you don't give up and you get to where you want to be. But that's it for today's episode. I want to thank everybody for listening on whatever platforms y'all are listening to the podcast, and to everybody watching on YouTube. Please continue to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I want y'all to have not only a blessed day, but a blessed week and a blessed year. And man, just praying for all of y'all safety, and y'all just have strength through these tough times, through the hard times. And man, I just really want to thank y'all. I don't think y'all understand. I don't care if it's just one view or one download that I get. I appreciate all the support, because for me, it's bigger than the views. It's also just about showing myself that I am persistent, that I can keep going, even though I may not be having the success that I thought, again, my expectations that I thought I was going to have. I can still keep going. I can still keep pushing through the tough times to get to where I want to be. So I want to keep being this example for myself and for the people listening, or for the people who will listen at some point in time down the road. Again, I just want to thank y'all, whether y'all listen to the podcast on whatever platform, or if y'all watching the videos on YouTube. I thank y'all. I thank y'all. I thank y'all, man. Prayers to y'all. And like I always say, man, y'all have a blessed day and a blessed week.